Brock Page here, random sports picks for fun. Seattle takes on Arizona for the Thursday night game, 8:25 Eastern start, University of Phoenix Stadium. Seattle opened up as the 5-point favorites and the total at 42.5. Since the betting opened up, no real surprises here. Seattle's -6.5 with the total moving upward to an even 43. The Seahawks are the moneyline favorites to win it. I don't see the line getting too high in this one. With Arizona winning and Seattle losing, I can't imagine Seattle's going to be taking too much money. And when I say too much, I'm referring to the notion that I don't think they'll be taking enough money to move the spread 3 to 4 points upward. I think that opening number by the books was pretty sharp and will probably end up with a closing number between 5 and 6 points by kickoff Thursday night. But if you're betting sides and you like the Seahawks to get the job done on the road, just keep in mind they've struggled against the number all year long. The Seattle squad has covered just 3 of 8 overall, 2 of 4 on the road, and just 2 of 5 laying the points. The Seahawks have also failed to successfully cover the spread in their last 2 straight. They're going up against an Arizona team who's been really scrappy. Just when you think they're tanking for the year, they managed to get a W here and there. This Cardinals team has actually won 2 of their last 3 outright and successfully covered the spread in 2 of those 3 as well. The Cards also covered 1 of 2 as the official home underdog and are also 1-0 covering against teams giving up less than 21 points per contest. All said and done, you might actually be able to make the case for Cardinals bettors in this one. We'll have to wait and see how this Seattle team bounces back after a tough last-second loss to the Skins. Now, scoring-wise in this one, we saw this one open up at 42.5 and move up to an even 43. I have no idea why. Cards games have gone just 1 and 3 to the overs in their last 4. They average just 9 points a game in those 3 unders. They're going up against a Seattle team who's gone just 1 and 3 to the overs in their last 4 themselves. They gave up just 11 points per contest on average in those 3 unders as well. Just keep in mind, if you're an under bettor, Arizona gave up 33 points a game in their previous 3 games before yesterday's action, and Seattle averaged 33 points a game themselves in their prior 2 before yesterday's action themselves. Mostly the case for under bettors can certainly be made, but as always in betting, nothing's a sure bet. All told, though, I'm ready to make my picks for this one, and I'm going to make a play on all 3. I'm buying the hook and taking Arizona +7, Seattle winning it outright with the under 43 in this one. Next game, Minnesota, Washington, 1 o'clock Eastern start this Sunday, FedEx Field. Minnesota opened as the 2.5-point favorites in the total at 42.5. Since the betting opened up, most of that early money has actually been coming in on the Washington Redskins to get the job done at home. Big win against Seattle last night, fresh in the minds of the early bettors. Right now, the Vikings are laying just 1.5 points against the spread, with the total moving slightly downward to an even 42. Currently, the Vikings are the moneyline favorites to win this one outright. And at the moment, Washington's taking 54% of the money. So if that trend continues, we might see them drop another 0.5 point by kickoff at most. Now, if you're betting sides in this one, you may want to pay attention because this Washington squad has not been covering the number in a consistent and timely fashion. Overall, Washington covered just 3 of 8 overall, and they've actually failed to cover 3 of 4 games at FedEx Field. The Skins also covered just 3 of 7 when catching points and 1 of 3 as the official home underdog. The Redskins also failed to cover their previous 4 straight games before last night's action. They're going up against a Minnesota team who's been a real good covering team on the year, going 5 and 3 against the spread overall. The Vikings are also covering 67% of their games when laying the points. Minnesota successfully covered the points in their last 3 straight. They're also on a 4-game outright win streak. All said and done, the case for Vikings bettors can certainly be made. Now, when it comes to the total, Minnesota games are actually 2-0 to the overs in their last 2. They averaged 29 points per game in those 2 contests. Same song and dance on the Washington side as well. Skins games have gone 4-0 to the overs in their previous 4, throwing out last night's game. All that in mind, it looks like I'll be disagreeing with the public money when it comes to the total. I'm also agreeing with the money when it comes to a win or 2. Disagreeing. All told, I'm buying the hook and taking Minnesota -1 and winning it outright with the over 42 in this one. Next game, New Orleans at Buffalo. The Saints opened minus 2.5 with the total at 48.5. Since the betting opened up, though, we've seen a lot of believers in this Buffalo squad. The money has moved this one down to New Orleans minus 1.5 with the total moving downward as well. Total's now posted at an even 47. The Saints are the moneyline favorites to win it outright. I'm not expecting this number to flip when it comes to the spread. Buffalo's taking just 31% of the public money at the moment, so I'm actually fully expecting them to be catching another full point by the end of business today. Seems to me this opening line was pretty sharp. I don't expect us to deviate too far from it. I think we'll see a closing number between 2 and 3 by kickoff. Now, if you're betting the New Orleans side and you've been betting them this year, you've been making yourself some serious coin. This New Orleans team has been red hot for Saints bettors as of late, winning and covering in their last 6 straight. The Saints against the spread are 6-2. Covering 75% of their games overall. They've also successfully covered the spread in 3 of their 4 road games, which is 75% as well. Here's where Saints bettors need to take notes. This New Orleans team has gone a perfect 5-0 against the spread when laying the points. The Saints are literally 100% against the number when giving up the points. They're also 2-0 covering as the official road favorite. Equally as impressive, New Orleans has gone an unblemished 3-0 covering against teams over 500. They've been really good being able to get the job done against those good teams. And to go alongside of that, this Saints team has covered a perfect 3 of 3 games when facing teams allowing less than 21 points a contest. The Saints have marquee covers over Chicago, great covering team themselves, along with Detroit and Carolina. They're going up against a Bills squad who's covered just 1 of 2 in their games at the current posted total. The Bills have also covered just 1 of 2 games after more than a 8-day layover. Kind of weird stat, but it does come into play here. Even worse, the Bills have lost 2 of their last 4 outright and have failed to cover the spread in 3 of their last 4. They failed to cover against the Jets, Bucks, and Bengals in those very aforementioned games. All said and done, the case for Saints bettors can certainly be made. Now, total-wise, I was really surprised at the movement of this line here. I didn't expect it to move downward, but Saints games are 3-0 to the unders in their last 3. New Orleans held their opponents to just 13 points per game in those unders. We've had ourselves a completely different song and dance on the other side, though. Buffalo games have featured a ton of points. Bills games are 3-0 to the overs in their last 3 themselves. They're scoring 28 points per game in those contests. They're also giving up a bulbous 25 points per contest in those games as well. All that in mind, I'm really not interested in a play on the total here. I'm just not smart enough to even attempt to figure this one out. I do like a play on the spread here, though. All told, I'm going to buy the hook and take the New Orleans Saints -1, getting the job done on the road. Next and final game for the show, Green Bay +2.5 at Chicago. The Bears have been a great covering team on the year. I've been really impressed with the amount of games they kept close. I've also been really impressed with the Bears' record against the spread at home. This Chicago team has gone a perfect 4-0 against the spread in their games at Soldier Field. They've garnered themselves some marquee covers over the likes of Carolina, Minnesota, Pittsburgh, and Atlanta in the friendly confines. Chicago against the spread is also 5-3 overall, covering nearly 63% of their games overall for the year. Most recently, the Bears have gone 3-1 covering against the spread in their last 4. They've got themselves a Green Bay squad who's obviously without their best player. No real need to go through their trends as they're a completely remolded, reshaped football team right now. Very broken. But I do think the case for Bears bettors is strong enough to be considered valid. Now, total-wise, Bears games are 3-1 to the unders in their last 4. They scored just 15 points a game in those 3 unders, and most of those didn't even come on the offensive side of the ball. Meanwhile, on the other side, the struggling offense of the Packers have experienced pretty much the same. They're 0-2 to the overs in their last 2 and averaged just 13 points of scoring per contest in those matchups. All that in mind, there currently is no posted total, so we'll have to wait and see where it opens up at. Wait, no, I don't. I'm going to once again make a play on all 3. All told, I'm buying the hook. Chicago -2, Bears outright with the under on the total. I don't know where it's going to open up at, but whatever it does, I'm taking the under in that one. All right, folks, remember, I got a couple more videos coming out this week. We got a 1 o'clock slate for NFL Week 10. We got late games for NFL Week 10. We got college Week 11. So we got a lot of content coming out for you later in the week, mostly pertaining to football. As always, if I get some free time, we'll do some NBA and maybe even some hockey. Who knows? But anyway, folks, that is going to do it for me. But before I get out of here, I have to remind you that I am not a sports betting expert, nor do I implore you to take any of my picks. A wise man once said, good ain't free, and free ain't good. And for some reason you decide to use the free information on this program, you're utilizing it at your own discretion. Most importantly, if you're betting any of these games, do it safe, do it responsibly, and most important, have fun. For Brock Page Productions, I'm Brock Page, and have yourself a positive day.